today. Thank you all for coming. We have appreciated being able to help you over this last week as you face the challenges of moving your classrooms to online settings. Today we're going to have an abbreviated main group and then give you the opportunity to go to 3 different breakout sessions. One will be on enhancing an existing Google Classroom. A second will be on creating those micro videos through Flipgrid. And then the third will be on hosting Zoom meetings yourself and some of the things to look out for, and we'll have that demonstrated for you. But first, I just want to go quickly over what we've done this week. Before I do that, I'm actually going to launch a poll. And this poll is going to ask you how you felt on a scale of 1 to 5 on Monday when we started this series concerning your readiness to dive into online teaching and where you have come. So hopefully there's a little bit of movement there. You may not all be 100% ready, but hopefully we've increased your confidence. So I just launched that poll. So while I begin to present here, I will keep an eye on that poll too. Please take a minute to take advantage of that. So we have gone over 4 different ideas here this week. The first was building community. And although it's the least tactical piece of it, there weren't a lot of tools we could offer you. It was more just keep these things in mind. Getting students to come to your classroom in an online setting is really challenging. Attendance and engagement are one of the biggest things you'll face, even once you've gone past that technology piece of it. But what I want you to keep in mind is that people want to belong. And so really planning for the different roles that we see in the classroom, from yourself as the teacher, all the way through students and how they take on different pieces in a classroom, the routines you'll establish to bind people together, and then those relationships that you will have to manage in a more proactive manner. So building community, number 1. Our second session was on instructional delivery and that asynchronous.
Hey, Deborah?
Yes.
I'm sorry, can I interrupt? There's a question in the chat about the rating scale from 1 to 5 and which one was low and which one was high.
1 is low, 5 is high. Thank you. Asynchronous and synchronous delivery. And so, what opportunities do you have to conserve time, to have flexibility and use asynchronous methods compared to synchronous? Our third, actually this is reversed, but another session was communication resources, how to reach out to the masses, individuals and groups of students, and different software options and applications you can use. And then building assessments and how do we collect that formative data that in our classrooms we can see with a head nod or a thumbs up or even just an expression that we kind of take for granted, and how do we use those in a formative way and create summative assessments as well. So Amy was great and Jeff at giving that to us. I do want to leave you with just a couple things. What we noticed as a group from all of you was this kind of overwhelmingness and then sometimes just paralysis. So much to do, so much unknown that you just don't even know where to start, so you don't. I want you to really think about starting with the end in mind to alleviate some of that pressure for you. For our Washington teachers, we're set to go back to school on April 27th. We hope that that stands true, but really think about what skills and knowledge, whether it's high school or kindergarten, what do I want them to return to my classroom on the 27th possessing? And if you start from that long range piece of it, you're naturally going to build more detailed goals along the way, but really think big picture. What do I want when they return? Then after that, really triaging student contact. We worry and we think about equity with students and being able to reach our classrooms. But thinking about April 27th and the equity of reaching the learning target, if you keep focused on the learning target instead of every minute of access looking the same to every student, I think it relieves some pressure and allows us to be creative and to step forward. So for instance, as you're thinking about a triage attempt, think about who will be your students who are easy to get to, who will have access, and then who are easy to get to, but will not engage with you or will be difficult to engage. Then move along to your students that will be hard to get to, that access piece of it. And then even worst case scenario, who is hard to get to and they're going to be avoiding you because that's just how they do. So prioritizing these layers and who do you start with first, I think is important. My suggestion is get to your easy students first. Your students who you have a direct conduit to learning, do something today, reach out to them today. Use them for your guinea pigs. You're going to make mistakes. Technology isn't going to work. You might word things wrong. Go to your students that are easiest to get to and probably most forgiving of you. You know, they're the ones who are going to say, Mrs. O'Brien, it's okay that you had a bunch of misspellings in your first email to me. I'm so glad you reached out. So think about that. And then think about your hard to get students, the ones that they don't have the technology, and really set aside time to get in touch with these harder to reach students. You may have to phone, you may have to use Facebook to their parents, all those different tricks, but think about those. And then setting time aside to talk with your colleagues. You may share families, and one of you may have gotten in contact with that family and be able to figure out a best way to communicate, whereas another person wasn't successful. So rely on each other for what's working in your community and your community's culture overall. Target supporters of hard to engage students. So if you have a student who's very engaged and they're friends with somebody else, you know, using them to loop in. We do a lot of that at Graduation Alliance. And then finally, I think you have a unique opportunity with your other staff, your non-certified people. If they are being asked to still, you know, come to work or do work, using your para-educators to find students, be detectives on how to find students, and be that nagging person I talked about that our academic coaches are, just, you know, pushing them towards you. All those outside resources that you can use to, you know, be like cattle dogs and push the students toward the learning environment will certainly be helpful. Then, you know, there's that old Nike slogan, you have to do it. You just do it and take one piece, take the piece that you think you'll be most successful at, and just give it a try on Monday. You need to be confident that you're all great educators, you're good teachers in that face-to-face environment, and those skills are going to flow over to this new one as well. We will go to our breakout sessions here next. I'm going to end the polling and share results. Hopefully you can see the results. I have them from my end of things. It does look like, you know, we've moved the needle from people being in that one category of not feeling prepared and moving many of you along past the 1 and 2 into the 3s and 4s. So, you know, I would say that that's probably a win for you and helpful for us. Again, we've enjoyed being with you, your questions, and I have listed on the screen, and remember that all of these sessions were recorded. I believe that you've been getting emails that have shared those back with you each day. And so we will keep those available for you. And so these slides will be there for you as well. Here are the people who have participated and presented over this week. We are as close as an email. So if you have a very general question you want to ask us, if you have a very specific question, use us as a resource. We're really pleased and happy to be here for you. So with that being said, maybe my people who are monitoring, are there chat questions or anything I need to address before we break out?
There's not any questions. I just posted the links in the chat.
Perfect. So let me go over the directions here. How to utilize a Google Classroom is going to just stay in this room. So the majority of you really were interested in that, so this will be the biggest room probably. If you are interested in that tech piece of it, let's see. So April and Greg's Zoom meeting, that would be holding a Zoom meeting. And then Flipgrid and micro videos, that would be Amy. So you see those in the chat and they're up here on the screen as well. So best wishes to all of you. Have a great weekend and everyone stay safe. In this room, we're going to switch to Angalina Vallone here in a few minutes. So my connection's unstable, so I'm going to take my face off. All right, stop my video. That should make my things better. And Angalina, are you off mute? Can you hear? Let's make sure we have you before we go too far.
Hello.
Hey.
How are you?
I'm good. We'll let's give everybody about a minute to, or maybe 30 more seconds to get situated. Looks like we're at about 61 participants in this room, so we'll give them a second.
I'm going to go ahead and switch over to sharing my screen if that's okay.
Yeah, that's great.
All right, can you see the Google Classroom screen?
I can, yes.
Thank you.
Angalina is blended, really. She works for Graduation Alliance part-time, and then she works in brick and mortar and has a variety of experiences there with Google Classroom. So go ahead and take it away, Angalina.
Hi, everybody. So I'm Google certified, and I've also helped my rural district do some Google training, and I'm still mentoring a couple of the teachers that I helped with that. So one of the things a couple of things. First, I want to reiterate what Deborah was saying about how uncertain, if you're feeling uncertain, the best way is just to get out there. And the beautiful thing about Google is it's so intuitive, and really in this Google Classroom, there isn't a lot of things you can truly mess up. So just push buttons and kind of see what you can figure out. And please write my email down. I am more than happy to help if you have specific questions as you get started on this. One of the things I was trying to figure out when we were getting going is where to start, because enhanced Google Classrooms could mean a lot of things. And so I have kind of a basic classroom that I started just to demonstrate a few things. And then I thought I would show you some of the assignments I do so that you can see, to back up a little bit, I'm a high school English teacher primarily, so you're going to be seeing mostly English assignments. However, I did some digging around on YouTube and found a couple of really great resources. And I will share those in a few minutes in the chat, the links. But there's some templates and things for elementary. Middle school, I think you can use this a lot like high school would. So, and even the elementary, I think it's very versatile because you can add so many different things in here. So I'm going to quickly go through the components of Google Classroom, but this is a classroom, what you're seeing on the screen. Where I started was the home page where you'll see all the classes that you have, but I'm assuming many of you have created a class already and have a start to it. So the first thing to know is when you come in here, you have your stream, And this is where everything that's done in the classroom will populate. You don't necessarily see everything in depth, but it's where assignments will post to tell students they have them. And you'll also be able to create classroom announcements and different things. So I went ahead and just kind of added a couple things to this class yesterday. So the first thing I have is like a welcome. You can add a video if you want, but you already obviously have senior students, but some of you might feel like you want to reach out so your students can see your face. So you can add a video if you wanted to, but I just did a quick welcome and mentioned the idea of doing a roll call, which is where you can kind of do that entry task item or do something fun to get students engaged in your class. So the stream can do can have fun things, it can have questions, but as you see down here, it's also going to put in all of your assignments so students can see them. On top of that, they'll have upcoming event items. If you're putting due dates on things, I'm not really sure how each of your districts are handling that, but they will also be up on the stream for students as well. So you'll see them just as students will see them. So I had Cecilia help me so you could see what comments would look like from students. You can go in and actually comment on a student's, another student's response, so you can really engage in back and forth comments, either at the same time, honestly, if you're both on at the same time, but obviously asynchronous too. So that's your stream. You really want, the big thing here to think about is all the new stuff is on the top, a lot like your Facebook feed would be. So new stuff goes to the top, and older stuff just keeps getting pushed down, but it's never deleted. So if you put something up there that students want to go back to, it's going to be there for them to see it. Okay, so along the top here are your main categories. I am not going to spend any time talking about the grades tab. It is actually something that you'll be capable, if you want to, you can use it, but it's very intuitive. It just, as you start inputting students and inputting assignments, they will populate into a grade book for you, and you can make choices on how students see their grades. So it's pretty simple, and it does export, so you can actually end up using it somewhere else if you need to. But I'm pretty sure I know our district is not collecting grades for the assignments. So I don't want to waste your guys' time on that one. If you have questions, please message me about that.
Angelina, we have 2 questions in the chat right now. So one question is, do you think it's a good idea to allow students to post and comment in Google Classroom? And the other question is, do you recommend deleting conversations?
Those are really great questions, and I was actually going to start that when I clicked on the people. In my brick and mortar, when I was running discussion, I would open it when I wanted it to be open and close it when I didn't want it to be open, obviously, because they would get distracted by messaging back and forth. And so I thought about this a lot because of our situation where we're not in there with them when they're possibly there, but they might need to leave a message. And if you take being able to post off while you're not in there, you might miss a message that's important. I kind of dealt with that, but then you might also miss a message that it should not be on your stream for any type of classroom environment. And so in this situation, I think I would leave posting open unless a student abuses it, just making sure to check back, because I'd rather catch a student who needs to make contact. But obviously you're going to want to check those posts on the stream because they can't, you don't want to have things on there that are inappropriate. So that's kind of what my choice would be on there. So the other thing is when you get into people, I don't know if you've noticed this before while you're in there, you can actually mute someone, so you could leave posting open and anyone abusing the policies, then I would just mute them. And then let them know if you mute them that the only way they can comment if they need to reach out is going to be through a personal comment, or they can comment on an assignment and it will come to you. So I know that didn't definitively answer the question, but I think a lot of it has to do with knowing your students. And I did see someone about being different between elementary and secondary. And I 100% agree with that. So I would leave it open right now for myself unless it became an issue. But I would start by just reminding them what etiquette, online etiquette is and expectations for this classroom environment, and let them know that they can be muted if they, abuse that option. So I hope that answered. I know it's not an exact answer, but I really think it depends on your students and your situation, because elementary and secondary are going to be totally different.
There's another question. Can you limit the time when students
Can post. I see
can
that.
post and comment?
You can, not in a scheduled manner. It's more going to be like, you could tell them, you could actually set that up as some classroom guidelines, because it's one of the things I was going to recommend is when you welcome them to your class, the first announcement I would have is like an online etiquette announcement. Well, besides a welcome would be an online etiquette, and just things for them to think about and your expectations while they're there. And maybe if you want to set a time limit, what you can do is tell them between 2 and 5 every day, it will be open for posting. So then you can collect them, and then when students are openly posting on your stream. And so it's a very easy, I'll show you how super simple it is to turn them off. So when you go into the settings, and it's just that classic, the gear settings for the classroom, you will come in and you'll see your class details, but if you scroll down, you literally can just come right to this. Students can post and comment, and just change it to students can only comment, because that leaves them capable of commenting on their assignment, but they cannot post out to the group. And so you could just turn it on at 2 and turn it off, kind of like online office hours. You could turn it on and off. So then you would have students who could reach out to you when they needed to, but then you wouldn't have to be worried about inappropriate comments or material being posted when you're not there. So you can turn them on and off, but I don't know that you can schedule that. You actually have to just go in and click the button.
We have another question, unless you'd like to continue.
I was just reading it. That's good. I saw the chat come in. Could you make a discussion type assignment made specifically for questions and teach the class that you want to use that particular chat assignment? Yes, actually, I'm going to show you, at least I think I'm understanding the question correctly. I'm going to show you really quick, let me get out of this part, but I was actually going to show you how to post discussion questions. There's an actual format that they use for you to post assignments. And so let me get out of here and I will go into that assignment for you. Discard. Don't want to make the changes. Okay, so that let me do this really quick because it'll just take me a second. Why is it doing that? Okay, so if you had a lot of students in here, this is where you would go, and this is where under actions, you can actually click on the student and remove or mute them. I just wanted to finish this conversation so that you could see that on how to silence a student in the stream if you needed to. So to go back to the question about creating a discussion, I'll actually show you that right now. So it's really creating a question. And when you come in here to the classwork, you will choose the create button and then choose question. And this, what happens in here is it actually allows students to comment back and forth. In my brick and mortar, we even do it in class, but I think it's perfect for here, especially for middle school. I mean, I've seen some like seminars done in grade school, upper grades, but we do a silent seminar, or I'm going to demonstrate that here, where students have to answer questions and then they have to go in and respond to at least 2 other classmates' answers to those questions. And so then you create this back and forth dialogue between students. And then what I noticed is they kind of get competitive on who can get the most answers, so you can kind of play a game out of it. Like if we can get a discussion going with at least 5 students and 20 comments, maybe there's, a high five or whatever kind of kudos you can figure out to do over the internet, extra points, whatever you wanted to do. So to show you that, I am going to post my directions here really quick. So we're in the question, and you can paste, or you can even type in the assignments. One thing I've noticed is students are more responsive if they actually have the directions in front of them. A lot of teachers tend to want to put the directions on their worksheet by just attaching it, but it works really well to have it on the worksheet, but also on the actual stream so they can read it there. So my directions here are that they're going to listen to a recording, and they've already would have read this, but I think it's really powerful to hear this recording, and it adds that engagement factor. So they're going to listen to the recording. It's from Night, if this was from a book that we were reading. And then we're specifically looking at Anna 4 because he repeats a phrase. But then they would do the silent seminar, and we've got step 1, respond to the question, making sure to use textual evidence. You could obviously make your own requirements. And then step 2, and this is the part I think where you're talking about that chat assignment, you need to require them to respond to each other. And then I try to make it a game and make it competitive to see how many back and forth comments we can get. And so, because that's part of creating that authentic dialogue. And so we do bonus points available. I just started with any kind of conversation that extends beyond 10 comments with a minimum of 3 responders. But as people talk that, you know, they you can work to getting it higher and higher. And so so did I answer that question for you, Lauren? I know it was a lot, but this is how you would do this. And I will show you what it looks like in a second, but do you have any more questions about that?
Angelina, we're going to save questions for the end. And so if you want to just make sure you are able to cover what you want to cover today.
Thank you. I'm trying to do this. So here's one way you can actually add material is through a link. When you click add, you can add it through a link. There's a ton of other ways available to you. And then once you're done, you just hit ask. And then what happens at this point is it gets put on the student's stream. And so let's see if it went in yet. Right there. And students can go in, they'll actually get a little notification. They'll go in, and then they're able to answer this question and go back and forth. Okay? Okay. Also in class, so I know with the extended use of, I really don't know why it's doing that. The extended Google Classroom, I tried to find different types of assignments that really worked well in Google Classroom that I use. So the silent seminar is really great. But other things that you can do, you can add a quiz, which it's actually using Google Forms. You can actually create one inside the Classroom app, just like this, where you would have a blank quiz form pop right up and you can fill it in there. Or you can actually add one from your Google Drive that you've already created. And so kind of depending on where you're at, you can create this quiz, and you can use it for fun things. It doesn't have to just be for, I don't know where my quiz went, but that's okay. We'll just pop one in there just because. But I had a To Kill a Mockingbird quiz in there for you to see, and it allows a lot of different types of questions. I had reading. You can actually plunk chunks of reading in and have them answer questions from what they read. So it doesn't really have to be just a quiz, but it provides a different learning approach for students instead of just video and discussion. So that would be putting in a quiz. And I did that really fast, but I recommend actually using forms outside of the classroom and creating them because it'll keep it safe for you. I mean, it keeps it safe if you create it in here as well, but I think it works better as you're building your lessons. So another thing you can do is create material. And so you go to create, you choose material, And I'm going to actually show you a couple things. This one, when we were talking yesterday about things to show people, I know a lot of you have heard about Soft Chalk and that they're offering free availability to create lessons there. So I went in and I found one of the lessons that we teach that has a lesson in it that is very useful. So I'm going to show you how to put the link in. So we read an excerpt from Fast Food Nation, and I'm just, for time's sake, you would create obviously directions, but I'm going to go in, and what happens is when you create a lesson in Soft Chalk, when you're in that lesson in your content, you can get the link, and all you need to do for that is copy and paste it into the assignment, and it will, and I'll show you how it opens up, but it is really great because it takes you to a lesson in a format that is really useful for students for full lessons. So let's do that. Sorry about this. My computer is not wanting to work right now for some reason. Okay, we'll do link. And so other materials, what I liked about this is it actually posts some information, and it has a hover. Soft Chalk has a hover component where you can actually put notes in and do guided reads with your students on the platform. So it's really awesome, in my opinion, for that reason, to be able to share text. Well, the last student, I see that. Okay, so I'll come back to the responding verbally. I haven't seen where they can do that, but they could create, my suggestion to that is if students really wanted to, there is a way to put the app on your phone, and they could just create a voice audio on their phones or parents' phones or their tablets, even using their microphones on their computers, and then just upload the voice. Like the MP4 or the audio clip would be my suggestion. I haven't seen where like you can just push the speaker button to get speech to text. Now, if you use Google Docs, they have a speech to text portion, but again, I've always recommended students use tablets or phones. So, and I see, Cheryl, I see the comment about the IEPs. I do think that the best way for that is using the talking into their phones and then uploading that audio, or then uploading the talk to text from the phone. That's been my experience in the classroom and what I've done in the past. Okay, so we've added I'll do that, added material. The other kinds of materials that I've used are PowerPoints and such, but I want to get to one of these other kinds of assignments that allows templates, because I think for elementary as well, this will be useful. So you want to go into create. I'm kept with kind of the night theme. I have this document to share with students where they actually go in and do some really close reading and answer specific questions. So I'm not going to do the instructions just for time's sake, but you'd obviously write in your assignment here on your directions. But what I would end up doing is attaching these assignments, and I want to show you one really important thing. You can attach any worksheet that you have, but what you want to make sure that you do is, let me find it real quick before I keep moving on there. Which one? There, I'm in the wrong one. Let me find it a different way. It's wanting to give me the wrong. Okay, so let me see if I can do something here really quick. It's not wanting to work. So, okay. So what happened is I have 2 Google accounts and it's not wanting to get into my Google Drive. But what I've done is I'm just going to attach any document, and I want to show you what, so it's just a graphic organizer, but when you attach a document, you want to, if you want the students to be able to write on the document, you need to make sure that you create a, we'll just add that for now, that you allow every student to have their own copy. So it's really important that you change this student can view file. So once you put in a Google document, you need to change the share setting down to make a copy for each student. And what this is going to do is you can add all the templates you want, you can add worksheets, and it's highly interactive this way. And if they can turn around and turn it right back in on Google Docs. So make sure you make a copy for each student when you're sending things you want them to work on directly online instead of just responding to a question. So you'll make sure you make a copy and then you assign it. Okay, let's see here. That was the templates. I have another template that is a vocabulary template that I made for elementary, but I'm going to actually go in and post really quick in chat some of the resources I have found that were useful. I specifically went in and looked in how to make templates. And then Jeff was kind enough to share a like getting started toolkit from Google that they just recently sent out for people who are just starting to really get involved or going on Google, but it's simpler than just creating, or it's more complicated than just creating a course. So those of you who are wanting to extend your Google Classroom, you'll actually be able to do that. And besides that, the other thing I would recommend is when you put anything in your welcome, that you let parents and students know that the Google Classroom app is available on their phones and tablets, and it really makes things, especially for the younger kids, it really makes it highly interactive because they're touching and doing other things. And so I really recommend it. I mean, my high school students loved working on their phones. It changed how interactive they were in my entire class, not just on Google Classroom. So that is, I have, I need to send this chat, but it has the Google Kit, and then there's a collection that I found of hyperdocs, which are interactive documents, and they go from K-12 because I was really trying to find options for every grade level. And then the EdTech graphic organizer, she is a tech person for an elementary school, and she has a ton of videos, so I really recommend it. And then the interactive notebook is another way for you to see how you can do them. So I will be sending that out in just a second. I need to find my chat window. And that would be it unless you have questions. I know that was really fast, and I am more than happy to answer any other questions you might have.
Angelina, I think you answered most of the questions. Do you think Vocaroo would work? Can you upload a link from that for the voice responses?
Let's find out. It's one of the things I have not actually used before. So let me see if I can find that really quick. And so one of the things I would say also is there are so many wonderful tutorials out there. Oops, I probably should put Google in there. But I have never used Vocaroo, so I don't want to tell you absolutely, but I am guessing that you could add right there. So Google Classroom, Vocaroo for audio feedback. So my guess is that would be a yes if it's got a tutorial. I mean, we could watch it, but I don't know.
We're okay. There's a couple more questions. One is, how do students respond to each other in a question?
Oh, so let's go back to the classroom. I will respond to, so I had you, Cecilia, you went in and you responded to the fault versus responsibility assignment. So this is a student response. And so if you want to respond to Cecilia or whichever student they choose to respond to.
Hi, I'm Tom Mulaney. That's me. I'm here today to tell you how to give your
Sorry
students.
about that. Okay, so notice what pops up when you hover is that little arrow right there. So I can go in and answer the question right now as a student, or I could add a teacher comment, but the student will open the assignment. They can post right just where that blue is, where they're going to see probably their face or an icon they chose. But when they go to respond to another student, they just hover their mouse over the entry they want to respond to, click the arrow, and now I'm responding to Cecilia. So it's very simple on that one. And it's pretty intuitive if they're just looking around, but they need to hover and see what pops up. Yeah, Lauren, you can copy your classroom and duplicate it. So let me, so if we're in classroom, if this is, so this is your home page. And so up here, this is the class we were just in. And when you go to the 3 dots, this is going to deal with your moving, edit, copy, or archive. And so all you need to do is click copy. And another class is going to show up, and I'll just call this 103 for a different section. And you just hit copy, and it's going to populate a new class, and the material should all be in there. Michelle is asking, is it possible to photograph a document with a computer camera? And can I take a photo of a document with a computer camera? Actually, so you can do that. Like, I think you're talking about it. Are you talking about a dot cam or actually using like your webcam, Michelle? I would get the way I would do it if I was trying to put a photograph in. Say I found something that I have in my files at home, or a piece if you brought stuff home from school. The best way if you're an Apple user is, and I believe Google has the same option, is under Notes you can actually scan the document and send it right to your Google Drive from your phone. And so it comes out as a scan, so it's a much cleaner image. And thank you, Joanna. So what you want to do if you're going to use a photograph of something is off of your phone. Notes actually in iPhones, I know Notes does it, and I'm pretty sure you could probably do it just in Google Drive, take a picture with your phone and create an image. But you just take a picture, it creates a PDF and or a scan and then a PDF file, and you can just upload that directly to your Google Drive. Okay, the next question is, how do I hide last trimester's completed work? So that's archiving. And so if you saw up here, I'll archive this course. And so when you go again to your 3 dots, you just hit archive. It's going to pop up with archive copy of English, and you hit yes, and it will go away, but it's not gone. You can actually go into this is your navigation for the whole course, and you can find archived classes. You're going to find a lot of them because I was playing around last night. So, but they're all there, and you can restore them, delete them, move them, whatever you need to do from that point. Lauren, I'm looking at your question about archiving just part of it. Let me look. I don't think so, but you know what? Let's look at this assignment real quick. So we have this assignment. It's either edit. I don't think your assignments can. If you're worried about just doing the materials from COVID, I would recommend doing like a remote learning for each class and starting a new class. That would be my recommendation. Just if you really want them separated out, that is how I would actually do it, is just have one specifically for this time period. Did I get everything?
Do we have any other questions for Angalina?
I am going to post really quick before we finish. I am going to post those links really quick that I was telling you about earlier, and I'll put them in the chat.
There's a question about importing students, or if they need to sign up again.
Okay, I can do that, and just let me finish this real quick.
Okay.
And then, so I just sent all of those. Again, that very first one, it's an amazing toolkit that Google just put out for this specific situation with COVID. So I really recommend you look through there, even if you have experience with Google Classroom. I was going and digging through it. It's really great. The next ones, the second one is where I told you that there's already created content from K-12. I highly recommend it. It's in all different subject areas. And then this EdTech graphic organizer, she is the elementary ed person or tech person for her school, and she has some amazing videos, so I really recommend that as well. And then I found a different form of interactive notebooks where she's using templates a lot differently from the EdTech graphic organizer person. So to import people or students, only thing you have to do is go up into your People tab, and the hard one is you're going to need your student emails. My guess is you probably have them in your student, or well, many of you might have your student emails. They need to probably be the school ones, and then your guardian emails, you might also have that. So when you're in here, you go into your People tab, and all you have to do is click the Invite People button. It's the little person with the plus sign, and you're just going to start typing students' names in. If they're part of your school district, their email should come up automatically. And then you should be able to copy and paste emails into here as well. I haven't seen a full import, but you should be able to like copy and paste a large list, if that makes sense. So, and this is all you have to do. The thing is, you have to wait now to get the students to accept the email. So if the parents don't know to look for that email, especially for the younger students, the older students, you're probably going to get them to see it. But those younger students, you might want to try to make home contact that you had sent an email to them. Once the student actually accepts the invite, there'll be a little link right, or a little thing right after their name that says invite guardian, and then you can put the parent names in. And this is where you can actually do your mass emailing from. You can mass email specific classes. So if you have different preps, that is awesome. You just go in here and you actually want to choose like everybody to send that mass email to. If you have the parents in there, Google's going to automatically kind of populate what did your child do this week in class, and they send them a report, and it makes it really nice to be able to have that continuous communication to home that you're not having to do individually either. Google will do it for you. When you click, so I have, I've been added as a co-teacher, but I'm not seeing any lessons. When you clicked on the invitation, can you see the class? I'm assuming you can see the class, you're just not seeing work. You can't see the class, okay. Let me see if I'm going to, Cecilia, if I can add you as a co-teacher, could you go in maybe and see what happens? And I can show you what to do. So I just sent the invitation. My guess is you need to click join the class instead of just going to the link, but I'm not 100% sure.
So it says join, so I'll join.
Was that in your email?
Yes, it came to my email and there was a big blue button that says join. And so I'm in the class now, and it asks me if I want to create announcements. Oh, it's walking me through reuse announcements. And I can see your class.
Okay. So a couple things, if you still can't, if you click join, when you click the button, I think you have to choose join when you follow the link. Is that correct, Cecilia, what you did?
Yes, I clicked join, and then it showed me your class.
Okay. my only other thing is, if it's still not showing that you click join, you might want to make some other contact with the co-teacher and see if anything else is in there. Maybe they haven't started yet. Okay, I see that you said that you've clicked join. So you might want to reach out to the other co-teacher and see if anything else is in there. I'm not really sure. It should have worked once you clicked join. Can you add content? Like if you went to the create button or on under stream, would you be able to add a comment or add anything, like go to that create button that's under classwork? Or you just, so yeah, that's what I'm thinking, is that they just haven't started yet. So if you can click on any of the buttons that say stream classwork, that's awesome. So my Cheryl, if you've added work, and they were able to comment on it, but I'm wondering if, I'm going to guess for the other situation that nothing's really been added yet. So I would recommend, again, reaching out or add a comment. You can always delete it really quick if you're not sure, but if you can interact with the tools you're in the course, then I would just reach out to your co-teacher. I love that you've got your para-educators in there too. It's awesome. Oops, I did not mean to, sorry about that. Okay, any other questions? I just love that.
All right. Okay, one more question. I wonder if I just create a new topic and assign all work there.
Actually, you can totally, that was actually, thank you, because one thing, Lauren, that's a great suggestion, and it was in my notes to talk about. You just kind of went a little bit, there's so much, but if you go to create and go to topic, one thing I had in a different class, I believe, or did I put it? Nope. I was thinking about how would I do this, is I would have done the week. That's what Lauren, like, I would have added like week 1, or I just put week March 30th through April 3rd. Like, that's how I would do this in this situation if I was using Google Classroom to reach out to my students. Or I would just label it, you know, something like distant learning or whatever you want, online learning, you know, whatever works for you if you want it in one big one. But I would do it by week because then you can organize it a little bit better. That would be how I would do it. Angelina,
Does Google Classroom work well with Word docs, or do they have to use Google Docs?
It's going to want to convert it to a Google Doc. And you want it to, because what I'll show you really quick, what's also really cool, because I know organization's a big thing, especially right now with the chaos, having things organized and easy to get to is going to be really important. If you notice, we're in the classwork, and if you see this class drive folder, when I click on it, it is going to take me to everything, every folder or file that is inputted into the course. And so, and it's going to take a second to populate just because it's dragging a little bit. But when you click that folder, all the work goes in there. And if it's a Word document, it won't. But it's very, very easy to upload Word into Google. So if you've done that, you should be good to go. If you need me to show you how to upload a Word document, I can do it in about 5 seconds if you would like me to. So Cheryl, I'm going to show you really quick because I have it open. So notice all my stuff came up. Like I've got templates, do not edit. I've got specific folders that are already there because it's how they're organized in my drive. But then things only for this class that I found are also in here. So this is that folder, and it's really great. Again, it's just up here, class drive folder, and student work will come in there as well. That's actually a great idea. I love seeing these ideas. So really quick for Cheryl, I'm going to show you how to upload into Google Docs. So I find it easiest to start from your Google Drive. So to get into Drive, I'm going to guess you know how to do that. You just go and search for Drive or find it in the apps, and you'll open this. When you click the new button, oh, let me move this over here. Sorry, it was in my other screen. So when you click so I'm in my Drive, and what I would do is you just click this new button right here, and then you go to File Upload, and it's literally going to open your I think it'll go directly to one of my documents. It's going to go to my folders. It's going to let me choose, like, this was one of the things I was actually, one of the templates for vocabulary work that's interactive. So you can choose anything out of your documents, just different items. So let's just choose classroom and then click open. And what you'll see happen here in a second is down in this bottom bottom corner, you're going to see it's uploading, and now it's done. And so now you've already put your Word document into your course, or into your, excuse me, not your course, but into your Google Drive. I love Lauren's ideas on how to organize with the topics. The topics are really great because it lets you, if you create a topic, you're able to pretty much pick anything. Like Lauren was saying, where you've got, and don't mean to keep bebopping between you guys, but Lauren's got like chat with friends, questions from Ms. Keller, and then there's specific things in there organized for this type of situation. So that's awesome. Yes, so then when you go into, so to go back to Cheryl's question, once you go into, like, when you hit create, since it's already in your Drive, you'll be able to click assignment and then do that add button, and you'll just go to your Google Drive. You can actually upload it, now that I saw that, from your computer as a Word document, but I really recommend trying to do it as a Google document because your students will have access to that. A lot of them, especially in Chromebooks, will not have Word. So Wendy, to answer your question, they will be able to write on it if you make a copy for each. What happens when you make that, so I'm going to do that again. I just added a Word document, if you can see that on the page, and over here where it says student can view file, there's this pull down menu. You want to make a copy for each student. And that is literally like you went to the copy machine, made a copy, and they each get their own blank document, and they cannot mess with your original. And so it allows them to write on it, but your original is still protected so that you can use it again in your classroom. So this is a magic button. You want to make a copy for each student. I would almost do that anytime it pops up because you don't want to accidentally let them have access to your documents. Yes, so I know I'm taking a lot of time. I really could talk about this all day long, but allow them to edit. One of the things I really recommend is, especially if you want that synchronous learning, something I do a lot on my online teaching is I will share a document to a student or several students, and when you share a Google document, it allows collaboration to happen at the same time. So I literally will get into the document with the student, and maybe they don't understand how to outline. I'll paste what I want, like, you know, hook, thesis, that type of stuff in there, and then explain how they need to fill it out and what each of the parts are. It kind of depends on what the student's needs are, but they can actually see what we're doing, so it's almost like you have a doc cam. And so if you write edit on anything, and that's what made me think of this, is when Lauren asked about allowing them to edit, they're able to actually go into a document and all work together if you allow them all to edit. But be careful and make sure they know they shouldn't erase anyone else's work. That is the only part that you want to make sure they understand the rules of the playground, so to speak, that you're not erasing work and that kind of stuff. So, but you can all collaborate. The one I really like to use for that kind of collaboration, though, what Lauren's bringing up, is using Google Slides and assign each of them a slide. You can create one slide and they can all, and then you can copy and repeat those slides. And then you would end up being able to let them all work in a slideshow, a presentation, all together. And they'll get to see what each other is doing. So they could tell you about their day through pictures and maybe write a short poem, and then they can go and look at everybody else's stuff. It's really kind of cool what they're able to do when they collaborate. So if you allow students to edit, everybody will be editing the same page. Or if you share the document you've created to all of your students, not necessarily just through Google Docs, but to everybody, or not Google Docs, Google Classroom, it'll actually let them all participate at the same time. I hope that made sense. That kind of was a roundabout way, but it's one of the things I love most is that share button for collaboration. Any other questions?
All right. Well, Angelina, thank you for all of your knowledge and wisdom and ability to, you know, work on the fly. We appreciate it. And to all of you out there, you know, stay in touch with us if you need different ideas or just to bounce something off of us. It's been fun having that huge Ocean Beach group with us. So we wish you well. You certainly are probably ahead of a lot of other districts in the state and in the nation. So thank you.
Bye, everybody. Thank you.